Hi team, welcome to my session. And in this podcast, we're going to discuss about the frequent questions which is asked to the candidate on SOC, which is called Security Operation Center Analyst jobs. No matter it is L1, L2. So these are the frequent question which is asked in the job. So like one of the question which is asked is, can you explain what SOC does? And in this question, what you need to answer is, you need to explain the role of a SOC in monitoring, preventing, detecting, investigating, and responding to cybersecurity threats. And they're expecting you to give them some examples by which they get the clarity about whether you know the concepts. Okay, so you should be very confident and you should not be explain very technical in detail, because if you go in technical, you get mugged up. And my session is basically whatever the answer you're giving, it should be very relevant to the point. The second question, which is mostly asked, is what is SIM? What role does it play in SOC? So here you can discuss what SIM system works, okay, how they are used in real-time analysis of security alerts generated by the application network hardware. What is the importance of SIM? Why we value SIM? What is the importance of logs? Then one of the question which I've seen, which is asked to the candidate is about what are the most common cybersecurity threats that SOC should be prepared to deal with. So in this case, you can be ready to discuss about malware attack, phishing attack, ransomware, DDoS attack, insider threats, and more. Another question which is basically asked in the jobs is basically, can you describe the incident response process in a SOC? Okay, how it actually works, how it is different from bookish knowledge. So here, you can give a high level overview about how the incident response works in a SOC. My suggestion is basically you can check my incident response YouTube video. Otherwise, you need to have a clarity on, different stages like example preparation, identification, containment, eradication, recovery, lesson learned. So you can basically, talk about this. So you need to and take one example and explain about how you prepare the process, how you identify the incident, how you contain the incident, what is the importance of eradication, what are the pointers we have to take care when you're eradicating an incident, recovery, lesson learned, and all that. Another important question which is asked in the question is in the jobs is, what is the difference between true positive, true negative, false negative? So you need to, so in this case you need to explain in the term, in the context of security alerts and the significance in a SOC operation. Like the concern is basically always false negative, and also the concern is false positive. So you need to be familiar with both. My suggestion is give the example. This is the same topic I've covered in my interview job video, so you can check that. And also give the clarity about how to fine tune to reduce the false positive and reduce the false negative. The next question which is normally asked is, how would you handle a suspected security breach? So here you can discuss the steps that you will take from the moment a potential breach is detected. What is the best practice you can take? So this is how you can. My suggestion is basically without revealing any configuration, any data details, and anything about the customer. You can take one example and explain how you basically handle the breach. So that's something you can basically consider. Then another important thing you need to understand is, there's one question which is I've seen a lot of time asked from the candidate is, what are the common security framework and standard you're familiar with? Exactly. So this is something they basically ask now. So you need to be prepared with the talk about ISO 27001 high level, then NIST, then CIS controls and all that. Now, what I've noticed is recently there is a change in the pattern in the jobs questions and all that. So now they are also talking about problem solving, and they're testing the problem solving and analytical skills in the candidate. So you need to be very clear with your analytics part, problem solving part. So example, they will ask, how do you stay update with the latest security threats and vulnerability? So here the interviewer want to know how you update your knowledge, how you upgrade your knowledge. So you can mention, okay, I'm using this particular security blog newsletter every week. One day I will basically spend time on this area where I review the blogs, newsletter, webinars, forums. So that's something you can try. Then one question which is asked is, describe the time when you successfully identified, mitigate a security threat. So you can here provide the specific examples that showcase your problem solving skills. Okay, you can explain about your experience. Okay, if you're fresher, then my suggestion is that refer Reddit or other case studies and prepare one thing, because it's a very frequent question asked, which test your analytical skills and all that. And then one more thing is basically ask is, how would you prioritize the security incidents that is there. So in this stage, you can basically take a call, discuss about how you assess the severity and potential impact of incidents to prioritize them. So these kind of things there. But nowadays, what happen as the SOC jobs are very stressful and all that, so they also test your behavioral and situational things. Okay. So example like one of the focus question which ask is like, how do you handle stress, high pressure situation, especially during a major security incident? So here you can give example of, stress management technique, how you maintain clear thinking during incidents. So that give you use cases. Then there is one question is like, can you work effectively in a team? How do you handle conflict or disagreement with a team? So here you can provide the example of, from your past experience where you have worked as a part of a team and, and resolve conflicts. So that how you can able to do the things. Sometimes they basically test your leadership quality where they ask about what motivate you to work in cybersecurity, especially in a SOC. So share your passion for the field, what aspect of working in a SOC excite you, that's something you can try. On the other side, you can also, there's a question is, describe a situation where you had to make quick decision without all the necessary information. So explain your thought process and the outcome of the decision. So that's something you can try. And as you know, nowadays SOC need to be very familiar with the compliance part. So sometimes the question will be around compliance. Are you familiar with any law or regulation that impact the SOC operation? So discuss your knowledge on GDPR, HIPAA, CCPA, and other relevant cybersecurity law regulation. How do you ensure the compliance with data protection law when handling incident data? So talk about the best practice for the data handling and privacy consideration. Then on the other side, they also talk about technical proficiency, like, what tool and technology are you proficient in that, relevant to the SOC operation. So list out the tools you're familiar with, like firewall, antivirus, Wireshark, network analysis. And sometimes what happened, they also talk about, your communication skills. Can you write and understand the script or code in the programming language, which is relevant to the SOC task? So if applicable, discuss your experience with the Python, Perl, Bash, or other scripting language if you are familiar with that. On the other side, they will also ask, how would you detect network intrusions without a SIEM? How would you detect the anomaly patterns without a tool? So explain the alternative methods and tool that you could use for your intrusion detections. So these are just high level questions which can be asked, and you can see how you prepare for it. And this is all from my side. Hope you find this podcast useful, and do let me know should I made more podcasts like that. And if you find this useful, do share in network, which motivate me, and it can also give more insight to the other people who preparing for this job. Thank you so much, your friend Prab Nair. Good day, bye.